everybody around America must decide now. Do we want to go backward 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Do we want to allow corporations to drown out individual voices? Do we want to undermine workers' rights to organize? Well, if your answer is no, then let's organize. We continue to fight to say no to this justice, to say no to unbalancing the Supreme Court, and to say yes to liberty and justice. Thank you, everybody.
We do want a nominee who will focus on equality and justice for all, and we will not give up the fight until we get that nominee. So we at Constitutional Accountability Center are fighting with you every day to make sure that we get justices on the court who will respect the whole Constitution, who will respect that the rights for all of us cannot be trumped by those big business interests and a court that favors the rich and the powerful. We are here to say we will not accept that. We are reclaiming the Constitution for we the people, and we will win this fight. Thank you.
My name is Hillary Shelton. I am director of the NAACP's Washington Bureau and Senior Vice President for Policy and Advocacy. And I'm fired up and ready to go. Fired up, fired up, fired up, fired up, fired up. I'm fired up because today our nation celebrates the 150th anniversary of adoption of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which transformed our democracy by guaranteeing equal protection for all under law. Yet our nation still struggles to realize the promise of equality. Equal protection and equal opportunity under law for all Americans, regardless of race, gender, ethnicity, point of national origin, sexual orientation, sexual assignment, and other differences. All Americans should be treated fairly and equal under law. The next appointment to the Supreme Court is central and crucial to this struggle. The rights of Americans and all racial and ethnic minorities to fully participate in our democracy in every facet of society and economic life on an equal basis lie in the balance. This nominee will determine the fate of our rights for at least a generation. Voting rights, equal opportunity, programs for the affirmative action, the housing, fair employment, affordable health care, environmental justice, workers' rights, women's rights, and the right to be free from racial criminal justice attacks. This nomination is too important to rush. We are too perilous of a time to follow the regular order. We have a criminal investigation into the presidency itself. That investigation must be completed before the Senate even thinks about evaluating a lifetime appointment of a Supreme Court justice. The nominee should not only be considered by the Senate elected by the American people at this November's election and not before. Brett Kavanaugh is a dangerous ideologue whose disturbing views on civil rights will launch the Supreme Court to the extreme right. Coming after Neil Gorsuch's appointment, a Kavanaugh confirmation would allow Trump to remake the Supreme Court in his own image. This prospect is unacceptable to the American people and to the NAACP, which is ready to lead the fight for this generation. The NAACP knows Judge Brett Kavanaugh all too well. We oppose his confirmation to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals for very good reasons. Sadly, after his 12 years on the bench, he has proven we were correct then and we are correct now. He has been a strong and consistent voice, giving an unfair bias of protection and advantage to the privileged and the powerful. Over and over again, he has ruled against civil rights protections, workers' rights protections, consumer rights protections, and the rights and protections of women throughout our country. He must not be allowed to be confirmed. So, with a Justice Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, we could see the reverse of so many important decisions. Gains with securing equal opportunity in education, employment, and housing. We could see further evisceration and exclusion of communities of color from full participation in our democracy. We could see racism continue to flourish within the criminal justice system. We could see the elimination of effective tools for proving discrimination and ending it altogether. We could see the overturning of a woman's right to control her reproductive life and the guarantee of equal equality and health for millions of Americans. That cannot happen. Brett Kavanaugh does not deserve a promotion to the highest court in the land. The NAACP has understood the crucial importance of fair-minded justices since 1930, when we helped successfully defeat Herbert Hoover's extremist nominee to the Supreme Court, a guy by the name of John Parker. We cannot allow this to happen either. We will fight this confirmation, this nominee, with everything we've got, from our state conferences to our local community branches, from our youth and college units to our prison chapters. They are fully engaged to tell both their senators that our civil rights and human rights hang in the balance, and that Brett Kavanaugh must be defeated. So, to each and every senator, we say, this is the civil rights vote of your career. Let me say that again. This will be the civil rights votes of your career. We will be watching closely. Make no mistake, we're in the fight of our lives, and we hope you are fired up and ready to go. Fired up, fired up, fired up, fired up. All right.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Allison, and I'm the Executive Vice President of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. And guess what? It's my body and it's my choice. It's my body and it's my choice. It's my body and it's my choice. Tonight, we are here to fight for the soul of our nation. During Trump's political campaign, he bragged that he would pick a justice that would overturn Roe and the ACA. Tonight, he made good on that promise. Brett Kavanaugh was picked up in that toxic list of nominees, and we already know what kind of justice he will be. Kavanaugh has shown that he is standing against the ACA. He's ruled for the wealthy and powerful and against the rights of workers, consumers, and women. There is too much at stake right now. Access to health care is at stake. Access to women's freedom at stake. Progress on criminal justice reform, LGBTQ rights, immigrant justice rights, all of those things are at stake. So let's be clear. Tonight, here at the Leadership Conference and the 205 civil and human rights organizations that we represent say no to Kavanaugh. We say no. We say our body, our choice. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Richard Blumenthal, and I am a United States Senator from Connecticut. And I just want to say how proud I am to stand with you tonight, to stand with you for our Constitution, to stand with you for women's rights and gay rights and voting rights and civil rights. And we are at a critical juncture for our nation. The question is, will we vote to preserve Roe v. Wade? And I say no to this nominee because in his writings and his record and his passing the Trump litmus test, he has shown that he would overturn Roe v. Wade, which is unacceptable to me. And he would turn back the clock on health care so that millions of Americans would be denied protection against pre-existing conditions. And he would turn back the clock to a time when abortion was criminalized, women were prosecuted, women died, women were denied essentially access to contraception like the morning after pill. But let me make one point in this most important point. We are in this fight together.
Human rights.
Because women's rights are human rights. And all of our rights are at stake in this fight. We need to save the Supreme Court and our democracy against a president who believes he is above the law. And there is something we all treasure. No one is above the law. No president is above the law. And this president should not be appointing someone who will decide whether he has to comply with a subpoena or pardon himself or others or comply with the critical anti-corruption statute in our Constitution. So let's resolve this day that we're going to stand together, we're going to fight together, we're going to win together, and we are going to make sure that women's rights and human rights and our Constitution are preserved. Thank you for being here. I'm going to stand with you. I'm going to fight with you, and we're going to win together. Thank you.
Save our rights! Save our rights! Save our rights! Save our rights! I'm Tiffany Muller, and I'm the president of Citizens United. And we're here to stand with you to say hell no to Kavanaugh! Hell no to Kavanaugh! Hell no to Kavanaugh! Hell no to Kavanaugh! Our organization was created in direct response to the horrible Supreme Court decision that merged two really terrible ideas. That money equals speech and that corporations are people. And they use those ideas to put a for sale sign on our government. Well, we're here to take it back. We know what's at stake tonight. Our women's rights are at stake. Gay rights are at stake. Our very democracy is at stake. They think they can outshout us. Hell no! They think they can outspend us. But we know that we're stronger than they are. We know that when we join together, can tell all the senators to vote no to Kavanaugh. Hell no to Kavanaugh. Hell no to Kavanaugh. Hell no to Kavanaugh. Hell no to Kavanaugh. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, let's make some noise to drown out all of the folks that are not with us tonight. We will not be drowned out. You will not drown us out. Not tonight. You will not drown us out. My name is Stasha Rhodes. I'm with Giffords, an organization to prevent gun violence. Every day, 96 people in America are killed with gun violence. Every day. That's 4 people every hour. And these are not just stats. These are real people with moms and dads, dreams and aspirations. Real people are taken away from us every day. Gunfire now has overtaken car accidents as the leading cause of gun deaths for young people. anyone who cares about protecting our communities from gun violence should be deeply concerned with the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh. If the Senate confirms his nomination, we have every reason to believe that he will prioritize an agenda backed by the gun lobby, putting corporate interests before our safety. Make no mistake with this pick, the progress we've achieved passing laws in several states will be seriously in danger. America needs a Supreme Court justice who respects the Second Amendment, but also understands that reasonable regulation to reduce gun violence do not infringe on anyone's constitutional rights. America needs a Supreme Court justice who also understands that protecting women's rights also means ensuring her partner doesn't shoot her. Today, President Trump did not nominate that justice. Today, he chose to ignore the same people he pretends to protect. Remember that we have 4 deaths each hour from gun violence. In the time that we've all been standing here, 8 people have died. Call your senators tonight, tomorrow, next week, and tell them to reject the gun lobby and protect American lives.
Let me hear you say, our courts, our lives. Our courts, our lives. Our courts, our lives. All the young people, let me hear you make some noise right now. Yeah. My name is Cece Battle, and I'm the director of Young People For. Yes. I want to talk to you all a minute about what's really at stake, okay? And who it's at stake for. We know that when a Supreme Court justice is confirmed, they don't serve for 4 years or 8 years. They serve for a lifetime. Say lifetime. Say lifetime. That means that Kavanaugh, if he's confirmed, could serve for decades. I want you all, yes, decades. I want you all to think of that of 40 years of justice voting to take away our right to vote. 40 years of a justice voting to take away our health care. 40 years of a justice voting to undermine our civil rights and our right to vote. 40 years of justice upholding institutional racism. 40 years of a justice voting to make the life of immigrants more difficult. 40 years of a justice chipping away at the rights of LGBTQ people. Come on now. 40 years of a justice voting to sell our democracy to the highest bidder. And 40 years of a justice pretending that corporations are better than people. And if Kavanaugh is confirmed, he would serve for decades, y'all. Decades, y'all. And it is young people make some noise. It is young people like us. It is young people like us who are going to bear the brunt of this every single day of our lives. It is young people who have the most at stake in this fight. And let me tell you something. Young people, we not gonna have it. We not gonna have it. We are the largest voting bloc, and we are not gonna have it. We are not going to let anyone who says they care about civil rights vote to confirm this nominee. We're not going to let anyone who says they love our country vote to confirm this nominee. We're not going to let anyone who says they care about young people vote to confirm this nominee. And we're not going to say anyone who says they care about the future of this country vote to confirm this nominee. Because a vote to confirm this nominee is a vote to take away our rights. A vote to confirm this nominee is a vote to take away our health care. The vote to confirm this nominee is a vote to turn back the process that people have put their bodies on the line to work for. And let me be clear, young people, we are not going to have it. Young people, we are not going to have it. Why? Our court. Our court. Our court. Our court. Thank you.
My name is Rachel Lazar, and I'm the president of Americans United for Separation of Church and State. Let me tell you what's so important about the separation of church and state. It protects religious freedom for all of us and not just for some of us. Let me ask you something. Do you believe in the separation of church and state? Let me tell you what Brett Kavanaugh thinks of the separation of church and state. He says that the wall of separation of church and state was the wrong metaphor as law and history. We say no. We say that the separation of church and state is embedded in our First Amendment, that America wouldn't be America if it weren't for the separation of church and state. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that the government should treat Americans of all religions and non-religious Americans equally? Do you believe that public schools shouldn't promote any religion to its students?
This question of, let's say you legalize abortion, well, how are you going to force a woman, how are you going to force a woman to eat right, to not try to commit suicide, not try to commit abortion themselves? You're going to create a black market.
So you're saying that if we outlaw abortion, then it's going to happen anyways, or what are you suggesting?
No, it's not. How are you going to force a woman
you got
who doesn't want an abortion? She's going to get an abortion.
If we force them not to have abortion, they're going to have it anyways.
Yes.
Why would we force them not to? Why would we want to force people not to have abortions?
I'm just saying that's what a lot of the people are arguing here. Like, abortion is murder. Abortion is murder. But yet, you want to... What are they exactly saying when they're saying abortion is murder?
When they say abortion is murder, I just said when they say abortion is murder, we're not talking legally murder, but we're saying as far as the ethics of it goes, an innocent life being taken, innocent defenseless life being taken, whether it's legally murder or not, holds the same offense, holds the same ethical offense.
But yet, so why is the energy being wasted when we have homeless people, homeless children?
It's not one or the other. We have funding, we have budget, we have people. I mean, we have human trafficking issues too. Just because there's more than one issue doesn't mean we should ignore any of them. I mean, we do have homeless kids, but we also have people fighting and supporting, fighting for those homeless kids, supporting them. You know.
But at the same time, this is kind of wasted energy. I mean, I understand that's your opinion.
How do I turn it around?
Believe me, we have cases against the Trump administration. In the last 18 months, we filed more than 100 cases against the Trump administration. Will we keep winning? After case. Will we keep winning? Yes, we will. Take action. Keep our communities safe from toxic.
Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up!
Guys, come on. Stability, shouting back and forth is really what's going to make a difference. Let me tell you what. This is why people voted for Trump, because they didn't care about yelling back and forth. They don't yelling back and everybody. Apparently.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kavanaugh has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kavanaugh has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kavanaugh has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kavanaugh has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kavanaugh has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kavanaugh has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kavanaugh has got to go. 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 Thank you, guys. My name, thank you. My name is Anisha Singh, and I am here on behalf of generations that are not even here to represent themselves. Our mission, our goal is to make sure that young people are taken care of, that their futures are secure. And we know so far that this president has not been taking care of young people. Today itself, we heard about women at the border having miscarriages while they are in detention. Shame! 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 And it is that same president that wants to nominate someone who is anti-choice, anti-woman, anti-immigrant, anti-healthcare, anti-young people, anti-everything that young people need in this country. We have seen this before. We watched Gorsuch be the 5-4 leading vote that said that Muslims cannot come here, that individuals... Shame that young people who are graduating cannot have their families come see them graduate if they're coming from a country that this president does not agree with. We watched workers' rights be dismantled because this president does not care about workers, he cares about corporations.
nominations. And so we know what the litmus test was here for this nominee. We know that Kavanaugh had to sit down with this president and claim his loyalty and claim that he would also overturn Roe, that he would also forgive this president and dismiss this president and make sure that this president does not get in trouble if or when he is coming before the court himself. Lock him up! 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 And so we are here outside the Supreme Court today on behalf of young people everywhere because they did not create this mess. And it will be our children and our grandchildren who will all suffer from this decision. So we tell senators today that you must vote no, or we will come for you in November. Them out! Vote 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 them out! So call your senators and remind them that this is going to last decades. This is for immigrants. This is for women. This is for our choice. This is for health care. This is for the dignity and the soul of this country because there is a lot at stake. And this is the fight for our lives right now. This is the most important fight we have. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing crowd. I'm Tiernan Sittenfeld with the League of Conservation Voters. I'm here on behalf of our more than 2 million members. I am also here on behalf of all people in this country who want to breathe clean air. All people in this country who want to drink clean water. All people in this country who want to protect our public lands. All people in this country who want to fight the climate crisis. All people in this country who want to participate equitably in our democracy. And we are here to say, hell no, Kavanaugh! 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 The rights of all people in this country to breathe clean air, to drink clean water, to leave our children a healthy planet, to participate in our democracy. All that is on the line. So we are here to tell the Senate to vote no to Judge Kavanaugh. The League of Conservation Voters is all in on this fight. Hell no, Kavanaugh! Hell no, Kavanaugh! Hell no, Kavanaugh! Hell no, Kavanaugh! Hell no, Kavanaugh!
Nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh live television from the United States Supreme Court. I am not going to sugarcoat this. We are in the fight of our...
Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in. Again, my name is Ria Taswell, special correspondent with U.S. Democratic Socialists. As you can see, a pretty contentious crowd tonight. There's one troll that's going in and out of the crowd with a megaphone saying that abortion is murder and that we should overturn Roe. But there's hundreds of people out here to show their support for a woman's right to choose and showing their opposition to Judge Kavanaugh, Donald Trump's pick to take the seat vacated by Anthony Scalia.
He is
Anthony Kennedy on the Supreme
to health
Court.
care for millions.
And tonight is the start of a long fight. Over the next couple of months, it's going to be an effort to essentially hold the Senate accountable and to oppose this nomination. The Republicans certainly do not have this in the bag. This is anything but a sure thing for them. All we need to do is pick off 1 or 2 votes from the Republican side, and we can very much stop this nomination from moving forward, protecting women's rights, LGBT rights, health care, environmental protections, workers' rights, immigrant rights. The list goes on and on. There is really so much at stake here with this Supreme Court fight. So again, I just want to encourage everyone watching at home to call your senator, tell them you oppose the nomination of Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to share this video. I'm Rio Tazewell. Until next time.
No one makes it to the United States Supreme Court without getting a majority in the Senate. And now the attention turns to the United States Senate. And the Senate needs to hear from you. Over the next few weeks and the next few months, it is clear. Our job is to raise our voices. Are you ready to be heard? People in the Senate need to hear you loud and clear. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? So, will you speak out? I know this will be hard, but we didn't get into this fight because it was easy. We didn't get into this fight just when the odds would be stacked into our favor. We got into this fight to build a country that embodies the best in America. And building that country starts with raising our voices. When people raise their voices in a democracy, it's amazing what can be done. You know, we didn't have the votes to stop the repeal of Obamacare, but we raised our voices together. You raised your voices. You showed up at town halls. You showed up at rallies. You showed up in emails and tweets, and you came to the United States Congress to make your voice heard. And in the end, because we raised our voices together, we saved health care for tens of millions of Americans. That's worth remembering. And that's what it's going to take in this fight. The road ahead will not be easy, but we won't back down. We won't give up. We won't go back. We will fight for the future of our kids. We will fight for the future of this democracy, and we will fight for the soul of this nation. Let's go.
All right. Give it up for Senator Elizabeth Warren! All right. My name is Adam Green with the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. Who here is ready to get political for a second? I'd like you to join me in sending a very important signal. Will you join me in saying, Susan Collins, Voters are watching you.
Voters are watching you.
Lisa Murkowski.
Lisa Murkowski.
Voters are watching you.
Voters are watching you.
Senate Republicans.
Senate Republicans.
Voters are watching you.
Voters are watching you.
We support choice.
We support choice.
We support workers.
We support workers.
We support health care.
We support health care.
We support equal rights.
We support equal rights.
We will fight.
We will fight.
And we will win.
And we will win.
We also have a very important message to every single one of the 49 Senate Democrats. We need you to unify. We need you to say together, stop Kavanaugh! Stop Kavanaugh! Stop Kavanaugh! And together we have a message for every single Senate Democrat and for every single activist out there who is wondering if their voice can make a difference in these next days and weeks. And it is very simple. If we fight, we can win. If we fight, we can win. If we fight, we can win. We will fight. We will win. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
What do we want? Healthcare. What do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? Choice. What do we want? Choice. When do we want choice? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? Equality. Now. What do we want? Equality. When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Workers' rights. When do we want? What do we want? When do we want them? What do we want? When do we want them? What do we want? When do we want them? Thank you, everyone, for being here. The fight goes on.